Hey everyone, it's Michael here with GoodEreader.com, and there's a lot of excitement in the e-reader world right now. There is a ton of different news happening. Kobo is now being sold in Walmart stores across the US. So in about 1,000 stores, they actually have Kobo display units and they're selling the e-readers. And in 3,500 stores, they're selling audiobooks and ebooks in a store. Basically the equivalent of iTunes and Amazon gift cards. You just purchase them and then you redeem them online. And there is also new e-readers from Amazon, from Pocketbook, Artitech, and lots more. So this is a really exciting show if you're going to be thinking about getting a new e-reader towards the tail end of the year, fall and winter. So let's talk about the new Kobo, because this is a new Kobo e-reader that just hit the wire this week. Not a hell of a lot is known about it at this point. We do know from the FCC filing that it is having a 1200 milliamp battery. It's going to either have 8 gigs or 32 gigs of internal memory. So it might have a lower end one for cheap and then an expensive version for people who need more memory. This is sort of what Kobo Aura 1 did with the initial launch. Then they had released the limited edition late last year, which actually had 32 gigs of storage geared towards manga reading. It had a new rapid page turn engine on this e-reader. And with Kobo, with this new device, I've heard a lot of chatter in the upstream supply chain on what this is going to be about. I've been told that this is going to be a second generation Kobo Aura 1. So this will be the 7.8 inch or so screen. It's going to have the IMX 7 dual core processor from Freescale. I also heard that it's going to have Bluetooth capabilities. This way you'll be able to actually buy audiobooks and listen to audiobooks right on the e-reader. It's going to have an audiobook store built into it, and this is key for Walmart because, as you know, Kobos are now being sold in Walmart, and audiobooks are a big part of Kobo's value proposition. But the only way to really listen to audiobooks is through their Android app. The Android app is the only way that you can actually buy and listen to audiobooks. The iOS app does not have any buying functionality, and this includes the new Walmart app for the iPad, iPhone, etc. You can't actually buy digital content in it. It's just a glorified audiobook player and ebook reader. If you want to buy content, you got to buy the cards from the Walmart store. You have to go to the Walmart website. You have to go to the Kobo website and purchase digital content, and then it'll sync to your iPad and iPhone. So I think that having audiobooks in the e-reader is key to the audiobook growth, and Kobo sells audiobooks individually at regular price. They also have an audiobook subscription service. It's $9.99 a month. You get 1 credit a month. This credit can be redeemed for any audiobook that Kobo has in their portfolio. In other Kobo news, they have just introduced overdrive functionality into all of the Kobo e-readers, and this is the modern Kobo e-reader. So the Kobo Aura Second Edition, the H2O Second Edition, and any of the new ones, including the Clara HD. They will be receiving a firmware update anytime between now, which is Wednesday. The date is the 23rd of August. So in a few days, they're going to be pushing out a firmware update that will introduce overdrive functionality. So Overdrive is the largest company involved in digital ebooks and audiobooks, powering public libraries all over the world. So a lot of people are asking, well, hey, I live in Canada, I live in Australia, I live in the United Kingdom. Will I receive the firmware update? Yes. Overdrive is in literally 60 different countries right now or so. Don't quote me on that, but they are definitely in all the European countries, New Zealand, Australia. They are even in South America, Latin America, like Mexico and everything. So they're in a lot of different markets. So you go to the settings menu, you enter your library card and your 4-digit PIN number, and then when you're visiting a Kobo bookstore, you'll notice that you can download a sample, you can buy it, and then you can also actually borrow it. So Kobo has all the ebooks that they sell. They have the digital editions from your local Overdrive library. Now, titles will vary depending on what type of content your library has. If you live in a small town, they probably don't have a huge digital collection. If you live in New York, Vancouver, BC, if you live in like large urban centers where their libraries are loaning out, close to 1 million titles a year, they probably have a big collection. In which case, you're going to get a lot of value out of the Kobo Aura One. So that's the Kobo news. I probably will find out more about this Kobo e-reader in the coming weeks. I pinged all my contacts in the upstream supply chain at Kobo themselves. They're going to give me some scoops probably in the next week or two. So you'll find out more about the new Kobo e-reader, the Aura 1 Edition 2. That's sort of the new Kobo naming convention, is sort of, instead of calling it 2, they're calling it Edition 2. Probably the Aura 1 will probably maintain that. So let's talk about Amazon. Kindle Paperwhite 4. This is the most eagerly anticipated e-reader of the year. Amazon is due for a refresh. I've heard a number of things about this e-reader. So Amazon wants to keep this as affordable as possible. Jeff Bezos has stated to me that when I was at a Kindle event, probably 2 or 3 years ago now, he said that they sell the Kindle Paperwhite at cost. And when it's on sale, usually it's about $119, and then they put it on sale for like $99, sometimes $89, and they lose money on it. They consider it a loss leader because it's affordable, so more people buy the Paperwhite than any other Kindle e-reader, and they make their money through digital content. So don't expect a ton of crazy features out of this device. It's pretty well an incremental upgrade. Two features that are key, I think, that will help drive sales is Bluetooth and audible functionality. So the Kindle Paperwhite right now, the 3rd generation one, it's been left out. The Oasis 1 and 2, the Voyage, the Basic, they all have like audible functionality, Audible Bookstore, Bluetooth functionality. You can buy and listen to audiobooks with a pair of like wireless headphones or wireless speakers. Paperwhite's the odd man out, so obviously Amazon's going to add Bluetooth to it. I've also heard that they are doing their version of color temperature lighting. So this is sort of the same type of lighting system that most e-reader companies have done over the course of the last few years. This includes the Barnes & Noble Nook Low Light 3, all of the Tolino e-readers, most of the new Kobo e-readers made in the last year or two. It's sort of that orangey type of color that helps mute the bright white light emitting from the LEDs on the bottom of the bezel and projecting light across the screen. So you'll be able to mute the bright white light with various degrees of orange. Amazon's putting their own spin on it. This is all I've been told. I don't really know the execution of it at this point, but I do know that this e-reader will have around 17 to 19 LEDs. The vast majority of them will be white, and then the rest will be like red shades. And I heard there's one other color. So most e-readers that do the color temperature light, they have white and red LEDs. I think Amazon is doing 3 different LEDs, so the screen will be less orangey and more of a muted color, so to speak. Again, this is just what I've heard from the upstream supply chain. It's not guaranteed that Amazon will do it, but they do have prototypes with various LEDs lights at Lab 126, which is their research and development facility in California. Pocketbook is releasing new e-readers. They are doing the Touch Lux 4, and let me just pull this up for you guys so I can tell you a little bit about it. So Pocketbook's a European brand. They primarily deal with like Eastern Europe, but they're pretty popular even in among the hardcore readers because they support a ton of different formats. They support like 17 different book formats and 4 graphic formats, including JPEG, BMP, PNG, and TIFF. So the flagship one is the Pocketbook Touch Lux 4. This is a 6-inch e-encarta display. Resolution's pretty paltry, 1024 by 758. It does have a color temperature type system. It has a really excellent design. It comes in 3 different colors, matte silver, emerald, and black. So for those of you that are tired of these cookie cutter black or white e-readers, Pocketbook has you covered with different ones available. 24 different dictionary language combinations. They also have an entry-level Pocketbook Pocketbook Basic Lux 2. I heard that this doesn't even have a touch screen. It's controlled by a D-pad, and it has, so it has 2 page turn buttons on the bottom of the device. It actually looks like a smartphone. It's going to be cheap as hell. It's 85 euros, but when it's for sale in North America, you could probably pick it up for like $65. So obviously, Kindle Basic territory. So Artitech is releasing a ton of new e-readers. They announced the InkBook Explorer, a 7.8-inch e-reader, really good 300 ppi resolution, really good resolution. It's pretty well on par with all the flagships these days, 1872 by 1404. Aside from that, it's going to be about 189 US, and 7.8-inch displays for e-readers are kind of rare. So if you're looking for sort of one that is running Android that will allow you to install your own apps, you might want to take a look at the InkBook Explorer. There's also the InkBook Loomis. It's cheaper. It's not, it's like 800 by 600 resolution, 167 ppi. It's not really that great, but $88. So it's basically the equivalent of the Pocketbook Basic Lux 2, except this version has a touch screen, the one by InkPad. So there is another InkBook Infinity e-reader coming out. It's 10.3-inch. It's a digital note-taking device, so it's the first one that they've ever released. Color temperature system, gig of RAM, 8 gigs of storage. They're going to be doing a Kickstarter campaign for it at some point in the next month or so. I'm on the list for it. They'll let me know. So in terms of the Pocketbook e-readers, the InkBook e-readers by Artitech, they're all sending me review units. So probably within the next week or two, I'm going to be getting them. So 2 Pocketbook e-readers, 2 InkPad e-readers. So that's 4 e-readers. Then when the Kobo comes out, that's 5. When the 2 Kindles come out, that's 6, 7. New Kobo, 8. The new Storytel e-reader I got, 9. So I mean, there's literally going to be 12 new e-readers that are coming out from now, from September and October. They're going to be hitting the market /announce starting to become available. What are the other ones? Well, there's some fringy type ones that are coming out. The E1 book 2nd generation's coming out. I'm really, I did a review on the YouTube channel and on a blog earlier this year, Mayish, Aprilish, and it's a dual screen manga reader, and it only read 1 manga edition, Fist of the North Star, but the 2nd generation one will actually have an SD card. You can buy SD cards with full manga editions. I think they've worked out deals with 6 or 7 different publishers. So the 1st generation one only had 1 manga only. If you wanted to get a different manga, you had to buy a totally new unit at $300 a pop. not the value proposition just wasn't there. But the second generation one's super exciting. Dual screen, opens and closes like a real book. It actually has real paper, like on the design. You put it on your bookshelf, you wouldn't even know it's an e-reader. So really excited about this one. It's a Japan exclusive. They're talking about localizing all the manga for English. Right now it's just in Japan, and it's like not even that well known in Japan. But you know, with me, I love tech. I like interesting tech. I like the Guido, as expensive as it is. It's like $1,500, dual screen, 13.3-inch screens. It's basically a digital sheet music reader. If you want to know about any of these, just pop onto our site, goodereader.com. If you're listening to this radio show on TuneIn, Spotify, Pandora, Google Audiobooks, Apple Podcasts, your HomePod, all of this type of stuff. I mean, you can come to goodereader.com and learn more about that. On the right-hand side of our screen, on the sidebar, these are all the new e-readers that are coming out in 2018. Constantly updated with like new devices, so you can kind of like learn all about that. And yeah, so how do you think Kobo will be doing at Walmart? This is the big question, because this is the power play. You know, Kobo has never really had good retail visibility in the US. Borders, before they went bankrupt, early investor in Kobo, and but they never really had good U.S. visibility. The closest they ever got to was forming a relationship with the American Bookselling Association and having Kobo e-readers very limitedly in indie bookstores. Indie bookstores basically had the option to carry Kobo e-readers. They earned a fee for every e-reader that was sold, and then whenever people bought e-books on that e-reader, the bookstore would earn a small commission, like 7% of each book. For like the first year, the commissions were higher. Than like year 2 and 3, then the commissions got lower. The same sort of things happening with Walmart. Walmart released a co-branded e-reading app for Android and iOS, but it's like hella buggy right now. I was testing out the Android app today, the Walmart eBooks app, which is on our app store at apps.goodereader.com. If you're not aware, it's an app store that you can browse via the web, and you can just like download files. There's no registration, no commenting system. It's apps. And if you have an e-ink Android device, we have an e-ink client that you can install. If you have an Android phone or tablet, there's a tablet version as well. So we're kind of on tons of different platforms right now. And so Walmart eBooks is available on our app store. It's automatically going to be kept up to date. I found that it needs a lot of work. Walmart, for instance, was saying every new account would get $10 in credit. I logged into an account, got $5 in credit. I was using a VPN and everything. So, I mean, I was like in the US. And so this is just what I saw. So, an obvious bug. I have a Kobo account already, and I used my same sort of email address that I normally use on Walmart. I tried logging into my Kobo with the Walmart app, and it was like, this account is automatically, this account's used. You can't use this account. So I can't like link my Walmart account with my Kobo account with the same email address. I have to use a totally different email address. And for me, like, I've bought a lot of Kobo books and audiobooks, so I have to use the Kobo app. I can't use the Walmart app. So, chances are, if you're using the Walmart eBooks app, you're not a Kobo user already. If anything, this might be the first time you're buying audiobooks and ebooks. Let's face it, in the U.S., Amazon is king, Barnes & Noble and Apple, second and third. Kobo has no presence, and Kobo is hoping that with Walmart they'll be able to build up a U.S. business. So, like I said at the top of the show, Kobo e-readers only in 1,000 stores in the U.S. 3,500 stores will be selling the gift cards for audiobooks and ebooks, and they're actually selling bundles, so you can get like a series, like a 4-book series for ebooks at a fraction of the price if you buy the bundle. With audiobooks, they're not doing the bundling, but the one thing I found about the Kobo app, or sort of the Walmart ebooks app for Android and iOS, is that there's no way to redeem your gift cards that you actually buy from the stores in the apps. They don't have like a gift card redemption system. Walmart, I browsed their site, they don't even have a redemption system for the gift cards online. They have a general one where you can check your balance, but there's no way that you can apply a new gift card to your account. So obviously it just launched basically like today/yesterday. It's going to need some work. Kobo's definitely needing to do work on their app. I mean, the fact that their iOS app, you know, the Walmart eBooks app for your iPad and iPhone, you can't even buy anything. So it's just like the regular Kobo app. If anything, the Walmart eBooks app is just basically a skin version of the main Kobo app, and there's you notice it everywhere. Even if, like, you say, I want to make a new account on the app, you're not making a Walmart account, you're making a Kobo account. And Walmart's just like earning an affiliate fee. So, I mean, yeah, the app experience, very lackluster. I'm very, very disappointed with it. The best experience you're going to get is with the Kobo e-reader. Speaking of the Kobo e-reader, the Aura One second edition is normally about $129, but Walmart is selling them for $99. So, you're getting them at a pretty good price. I recommend, if you were to say, oh, all right, I walked in my Walmart, there's like 4 different Kobo e-readers. Michael, king of e-readers, what should I buy? Probably recommend the Clara HD. For its value, it is pretty good. You're spending just a little over about $100. Resolution is good, like 300 ppi. All the cutting edge features. It's the newest e-reader that Kobo has released, so you're not getting something that was made a few years ago. You're getting something that was made and released in mid 2018. Kobo just released it in April or May, so I mean, it's only been on the market just like a few months. So I'd probably say I recommend that, because you're going to get a lot of longevity out of it. But Kobo's always done a really good job about issuing firmware updates for all of their e-readers. Even ones that were made like 6 years ago, they're still pushing out firmware updates, introducing new features, new graphic user face enhancements, bug fixes, everything. So I mean, Kobo is probably the only company out there that constantly updates their older devices. And in terms of a company with the sheer amount of device footprint, like Amazon did, every few years it releases maybe an e-reader. Barnes & Noble, every 3 or 4 years, it may release an e-reader. Kobo, like clockwork, 2 e-readers a year, sometimes 3. So, I mean, they have a lot of devices in their portfolio, and the fact that they're constantly keeping them always updated, fairly compelling, and I kind of really dig that. So, the last thing I want to talk about is a Storytel e-reader. Storytel is a company that is from Sweden, from Stockholm. They've been in business since about 2005. They have about 500,000 subscribers, and they're in about 12 different countries, primarily like the Nordic countries, Europe, but they're also like in India, the United Arab Emirates. They're working out deals with like Mexico and Brazil. They might move to the US and Canada at some point in 2019. They have an unlimited service. They initially started with audiobooks, so this is like they've been an audiobook business first. In the last few years, they launched an ebook business. So you pay like basically the equivalent of like $9.99 a month. There's no throttling like Scribd. There's no limits. They're in a lot of markets where they are the dominant subscription platform. They sell more than Amazon Kindle Unlimited, than Scribd, than any of these like other companies. They're just killing it, like in Denmark, Finland, Sweden, all in Scandinavia basically. So they released an e-reader, and the exciting thing about this is that it's fairly middling for specs. It's not even like 300 ppi, but it does have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. It will listen to audiobooks. It will read ebooks, but it's only compatible with the Storytel ecosystem. So if you're a Storytel subscriber and you buy this e-reader at like 99 sort of like euros, you'll be able to download and listen to anything that you want. Like, you can download 10 ebooks at a time and 3 audiobooks and just like listen to them. And it doesn't cost you anything other than just like your monthly subscription fee, because you download more content. It's not like you're billed extra. It's a truly unlimited system. And I think that this is like the first company that's ever released an e-reader that is it's built to be like as like almost like an alternative to their apps. They're sort of like an app company, so they have the Storytel app for Android and for iOS. So this is the perfect complement, I think, as an e-ink reader that's 100% compatible with their entire ecosystem. I don't know. I mean, there's something really exciting about that. They actually sent me their e-reader. I have it here. I posted a picture on our Facebook page on just like the retail packaging. Peter and I are probably going to film it either this week or next week. We're just waiting on a few new e-readers. Like we're waiting to see if Pocketbook's going to send us their 2 e-readers. Artech said they're sending us one of their 3 new e-readers. So we might wait to get at least one more device before we film, because our studio's like on like the total opposite end of the city than I am. Like I'm like right by Kits Beach, which is like Vancouver, right on like the Pacific Ocean, and our studio's basically like in Burnaby, so it's like one city away. It takes like, if a cab there, it's like 35-minute cab ride, and if I drive, which I haven't driven very much, it's way shorter. Speaking of such, like I'm like deep 30s, and I just got my learner's license like this year, and I've been taking driving lessons with young drivers of Canada. So young drivers, obviously, like it's all over the place. So I've had like about 13 driving lessons, and I take my driving test in about 2 weeks or so. So I'll have sort of my full license, could buy a car, I can get insurance, I could just be a motor carist. I could drive a motor car. So I'm thinking about doing that, and I've been sort of doing research. I don't really know what is a good car. I don't really know very much about anything, because I've always kind of been like a cat. I've always liked to be chauffeured. I've always liked to be sort of in the back seat of a rented car, have a driver, or have my friends drive, or sit in the back of a cab. Like I've always just dug being chauffeured around. I always thought that like driving would be super stressful, but after like I've driven so much, actually I'm not finding it that stressful anymore. But I'm just in a world of hurt, because like I don't know anything about cars. Like I've never had one and never thought about buying one, so it's like it's a whole new world. And a lot of people are like, man, when I was like 16, I got my license and I got a car and I was driving around. I've been driving around for like 30 years, you noob. And I'm like, well, for me, this is kind of like exciting. This year for me has been like a really good year of like work-life balance, like writing better quality articles for like the site, taking time to smell the roses. Like literally I've been like planting a big garden in front of my house, flowers, like herbs, like between last year and this year, it's like total different like front yard, and it looks really good. And getting my license, and like just getting out in the world a little bit more, instead of like always just like filming and working and doing things. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about a car. I'm kind of thinking about like a 4-door kind of like small type of car, kind of like not like exactly like the Austin minis, but there's like mini coupes, but there's like a 2017, 18 different style of mini coupes. For a city like Vancouver, where it's like dense traffic, and my neighborhood is like, it's pretty well like small cars everywhere because it's easier to park, and it's all like free parking in my neighborhood. You just like need like sort of like a tag like that, I live in this neighborhood, I park in this neighborhood. You pay like $50 a year, so for street parking. But the easiest cars to park are smaller cars. I don't want to get like one of those like two-door, like car to go, or any of those sort of like driving things where it's like you can kind of pay a subscription fee and like rent a car whenever you want to. I don't want to get like a super small car that people will blow on the car and it'll like like a piece of paper just like fly away. So yeah, I'm kind of like researching it and kind of figuring out what I want. I'm kind of excited about the prospect of Tesla was saying that they were going to make a $35,000 car. They said that they've kind of reached the scale that they could pretty well do it. If they do that, I might kind of do it. At the very least, I kind of want to get like a hybrid type of car that I don't really have to plug in, or if I do, you don't really have to plug it in that often. The one kind of drawback about a Tesla is just like there's very few charging stations in Vancouver, like, and the ones that are around, there's Teslas just like lined up to like use it. Most people who have them have like big houses, 4-car garages. They just built a Tesla charging station themselves or just bought it. So that's what's happening with me. You have been kept up to date what's happening with all the new e-readers coming out in the tail end of 2018. I've told you a little bit about what's going on with Walmart in terms of Kobo's investment in the States. How do you think that'll play out? Do you think that Kobo will suddenly give Amazon and Audible a run for its money in the ebook and audiobook space, or at the very least dent Barnes and Noble prospectively? That's one thing that people haven't really been talking about. With this much retail visibility and the lack of retail visibility for like the Nook, and let's face it, you don't have to visit our website very much to know that the Nook is just in a perpetual state of decline. Will Kobo be the final nail in the coffin? We'll wait and see. I want to hear from you guys. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about this edition of the Good Reader Radio Show. And my name is Michael, and everybody take care.